the 30th of October 2017, I attended the court case, or the morning part of the court case of David John Walters, and I witnessed some pretty interesting things happen inside that court case. The first, probably most important thing I did notice was that the magistrate first asked for the name and of David. He said, "Are you David John Walters?" And David said, "Yes, I'm David John Walters." And then the magistrate said, "So we have Mr. Walters here." And David said, "Yes, I am Mr. Walters." But he did that with everyone that walked on there or walked in the courtroom. He made sure that he established the military account and the surname account was there. And what he was doing was making sure that he had recognised and the consent that the creditor was acting as the debtor. And the consent was the agreement to hold the surname account and the military name, Mr., Miss, Mrs., which are military designations. So once you walk into that court and accept the military name and the surname, then you are deemed to be the debtor of the state, and you are subject to martial law or the law of the sea or the Libor codes, military law. And when you're subject to that, you enter into a debtor-creditor relationship where you must obey the rules of that ship or that corporation. But the only one that can obey the rules is when you attach yourself to their account, their surname account. And that I noticed that magistrate, who's a senior magistrate, made it very clear that he needed to have David John Walters in the courtroom. And the very minute David John Walters agreed to that, he then confirmed that he had Mr. Walters in the courtroom. On that day, David did very well in the court, and he not only won his case, the prosecution had to close the case down halfway through it because he was exposing too much information about the invalidity, or how invalid the government actually was, and that was being exposed in relation to the seals and the validity of that, of the fact that nothing is signed. The identification of the police officers is not signed by the Commissioner of Police, and the fact that they just refuse to give their date of birth in order to give some sort of accountability. So if they don't give their full name and their date of birth, there's no account to access. So they are just standing alone, but without us having any ability to get any recourse if they step out of line. So in that case, David did very well in exposing the criminality of their court, and also it is questionable about the actions of Magistrate Bentley, who locked him up for 1 month for contempt of court. And I would say that's going to be looked at a lot harder. I think Magistrate Bentley should be dismissed immediately, and so should the prison officer that tried to have David charged. I've dealt with that man before, and I've had to put in a complaint with the Queensland Police Sergeant Dwarn. He asked me to keep the complaint internal. He didn't want it to be made public or official, and which I did. But when I found what he was doing and lying on the stand, or lying under oath in relation to David's case, I had realised that I had made a grave mistake by not placing that, by not making a formal complaint about that officer that punched me in the back while I was locked in the watch house. It appears that any of us that question the government go through this terrorising campaign that they run on us. They throw us in the watch house, put us in contempt of court, try and put us in prison, and usually have us bashed. I was bashed twice over it and warned to stop exposing the conduct of the police and the conduct of the government, but I can't stop it because I'm not going to put up with it. And I have children and grandchildren that I don't want to be subject to that type of unidroit United Nations corporate governance that has no accountability and nothing signed. It is absolutely dangerous, and I think that David Walters has also done a mammoth job in exposing them for what they really and truly are. So for that, I thank David, and I won't stop until those two officers, one being Magistrate Bentley and the other Mr. Webb, I think his name was, from the Queensland Watch House, the two of them, they cannot remain in government, and the quicker that they are gone, the better for all of us. So thanks, David.